Today we're reacting to Houston's hidden crime empire, arson, drugs, and greed behind the turkey leg hut. Now, I've been to the turkey leg hut one time. I remember it was good. It was a good little turkey leg, got some rice and shit on it. It was good. You know what I'm saying? It was like when I first moved to Houston. And that was the only time I went because it was busy as it was so busy even in the rain. You know what I'm saying? So with all of that, I'm just not the type of person where I'm trying to sit in conditions for food or for rides. Like, I don't really do that. So I never really pulled back up. And this just started to unfold kind of crazy. So let's get into it. Let's get all the juicy stuff about it. Let's do it. This nigga pouring gasoline on that shit. And with a weak ass mask and it's crazy, like.
And cheese on top of a turkey leg. Like, I changed the game with this one.
Which one I had? That's the one I had right there, y'all. Yup, that's the one.
I tell you, the turkey leg is so tender, it just, like I said, falling off the bone.
If you're in Houston, you have to come to the Turkey Leg Hut. It is so worth the wait.
Price, owner of Turkey Leg Hut in Houston, Texas.
Hi, I'm London Price, owner of Turkey Leg Hut in Houston, Texas.
You know what I'm saying? It's the level of respect. And I don't get disrespect. I'm all right in the hood. You know, people respect me. So the thing that you came in my restaurant to fight, that was my first incident of a fight since our restaurant has ever been open.
Oh, wow, That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's with a black business. And we see 30-some thousand people a week.
How many people a week?
30.
I know them niggas getting money. They was getting money at one point.
Oh, so y'all niggas is killing it.
No, we ain't killing, we murdering it. Nigga, stop playing with me.
No.
30,000.
No.
Hey, let me drink a little more so I can talk shit to you.
No,
Do a shot.
no.
Do a shot.
You don't need another shot.
Not today. We call it shot o'clock.
No.
The once popular Turkey Leg Hut is officially closed. A judge converted the third establishment's Chapter 11 bankruptcy to Chapter 7, clearing the way for the restaurant's landowner to terminate the lease. This is new video from today showing the closed restaurant on Alameda. As you can see, all of the iconic signs are now gone. All assets are to be sold to repay creditors. This has been months in the making with a series of headlines from Bankruptcy.
Fam, most of us familiar with this quote growing up. You don't truly understand or experience life until you face obstacles that test your character. Whether that means turn into a life of crime or stand on a straight and narrow path to achieve your goals. It seems like trusting the people you believe in can become a challenge, especially when success is long-lasting. Yet, adversity strikes unexpectedly. Fam, you ever met a person who didn't know how to accept no in no way, shape, or form? And in return, they lost everything they worked so hard for, fighting for what they used to be. Today, we're going to discuss a story that amplifies this struggle. A story about a man who faced tremendous loss over the past few years. Bankruptcy, losing his wife, his restaurant, his family, and now even his freedom. And a recent indictment from the feds has shined light on his controversial actions. This man is accused of burning out his competition, literally, alleging stealing recipes, selling drugs when the business was slow, and even using a restaurant logo to put on these narcotics. Not to mention, he scammed the gospel singer and his wife who were invested in the business. In this video, we dive into the story, examine the details of his recent arrest, and explore the events that led to his current situation. But before we break this one down, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. Fam, meet Nakia Holmes and her ex-husband, Lindell Lynn Price. Holmes and Price started the Turkey Leg Hut in 2015 in a parking lot across the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. 2 years later.
Oh, wow. That's how they started up. Man, it's dope hearing the history of this shit, but it's crazy. It's going to be crazy to see how that shit downfall.
They moved their bustling business to 4830 Amanda Street, where fans formed lines around the back waiting to get their hands on fall-off-the-bone turkey legs. Covered in shrimp Alfredo, dirty rice, or other savory toppings like crawfish, macaroni, and cheese. What began with 30 legs a week on a smoky pit had ballooned to hundreds in a matter of days thanks to demand.
I always say the world is going to taste our food.
Meet Nakia and Lynn Price, founders of the Turkey Leg Hut restaurant in Houston, Texas.
You know, we came up with the concept. People encouraged us, and before we knew it, it took off. We probably do about 45,000 turkey legs in a week. Still to this day, I'm amazed to see that line wrapped around the building.
I'm talking about wrapped, and they had one side on whatever side of the street, like the actual joint, and then on the other side they were like had little food trucks of the same. It was still the turkey leg hut. Just I guess be able to mediate all the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Ford F-150 truck has played a major role. Pulling the barbecue pit.
We don't have to bring out a generator to be able to plug up our food truck from our vehicle. I mean, it's genius. You're always on the go, so it's easy for me to be able to plug up what I need. It's made our life easier.
We've worked hard to get here. We just this little small little restaurant, but as always, the proof is in the pudding.
Why work for someone else's dreams when you can do it for yourself?
Now, Turkey Leg Hunt has seen some highs and lows in this near decade of opening. The restaurant went viral when the owners instituted a dress code after complaints of women and men entering the business with little to no clothing.
The Third Ward's Turkey Leg Hut is getting national attention this weekend after implementing a controversial dress code. Fox 26's Chelsea Edwards tells us why the restaurant is now in the hot seat.
Turkey Leg Hut was trending nationwide on Twitter after posting these new dress code rules. Some say it alienates their customers. Others say it's about time.
Turkey Leg Hut draws in crowds from across the nation with its famously stuffed legs. That's what the restaurant says it wants to see less of in this dress code posted Friday that
no exposed undergarments, no house attire, no bonnets, no do it. So boom, okay, look. So this is what's going on. They in Third Ward. If you're not from Texas, you know, if you're not, especially if you're not from Houston, I didn't really hear about these places until I moved to Houston. But if you're not live in Houston, or you know what I'm saying, Third Ward is it's the hood for real, to be honest, just quite frankly, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure, you know what I'm saying, especially in these areas, niggas is pulling up in the wildest shit. Ass cheek, bottom ass cheek showing, you know what I'm saying? Bonnets out the wazoo, you feel me? House shoes, da. Only thing naked here is our wing. What is that?
Exposed undergarments and states
must be completely covered, no swimwear. Cause bro, and we talking about Houston too, y'all. Let's be real. All my Houstonians, let's be real, y'all. Y'all know how this shit be looking, especially at certain places, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shorty looking like this, the ass is out like that, shit moving around. What Cap say? You gotta be from Houston, all that ass on you, right? All that, like the certain way the motherfuckers dress, this is that and the third. Look, all cleavage, breast, thighs, and buttocks gotta be completely covered. Now, I understand a place wanting to do that, but in a city where this is just how they move it, I understand why they're uproaring. And not saying that I agree with the uproar, you feel me? Like, if I have an establishment, I probably would have more of a dress code like this too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see all that, you feel me? Because the thing is that what this type of attire and dress code brings is a certain group of people. A place where you're going to have some violence break out. You feel me? You're gonna have some this breakout, or you're gonna have this type of activity going on. So they're trying to stop it by having a strict dress code.
Parts must be completely covered.
It makes your meal much more pleasant. You had to change her clothes.
Critics cooked up social media jokes featuring black tie and Amish attire as the new requirement, but others accused the restaurant of kicking out the same fan base that made them popular, even calling the owners racist.
We're a restaurant and we're not a club, let alone a strip club.
Because this is how they be treating certain places in Houston, bro. There's so many clubs and there's so many lounges and hookah, and this is that and the third, that, like, you know, they probably just trying to stop that. I'm not mad at them for doing that when they did that. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, they not, like, nigga, there's so many clubs, go do that shit at the club, you feel me? But over here, we a restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
The restaurant says its family-friendly atmosphere has been taking a hit during the return to summer fun, with some customers complaining about what was hanging out at the table next to them.
As we see, you know, people coming in with pants all the way below the bottom of their derriere. We see, you know, women coming in with nothing but exposed butt and thigh.
They also say the first post was a draft not meant to be published. It was replaced with this list that prohibits excessively revealing clothing.
It was not implemented to change our image. We still like to have a good time, but at the same time, it's an environment where there are children here, there are older people here.
Turkey Leg Hut says there are no other changes in the works, but guests who don't follow the guidelines may be turned away.
I would think it's appropriate for them to cover up. I mean, if you're coming here and
Unc wasn't feeling that. Unc like, damn, I like to see my little shit when I can't, I don't get to see too much back in the crib.
You're coming here for business, you don't want to come here for that.
Leaving some diners to enjoy their turkey meat while seeing less.
Back on March 26, 2024, the Turkey Leg Hut owner, Nakia Holmes, had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, according to court record. But it was the information that was provided during that time that was alarming. In the Southern District of Texas, stating that in the past few months at the time of her filing bankruptcy, her business was riddled with controversy. Via Instagram, she quoted, "The company has initiated a voluntary court-supervised process that will allow it the necessary flexibility to continue ongoing discussions with all financial stakeholders. In connection with the filing, the company has sought approval to continue its operations while meeting its obligations to all stakeholders, employees, suppliers, and vendors." According to court records, the owner had listed 19 creditors with the estimated liability of $1 million and $10 million. Two of the largest accounts including the amount of $1.9 million and a disputed amount of $932,000. But it's a guy named Rogers, who's now the owner of Bar 5015 in the 3rd Ward. He filed a lawsuit against his colleagues, who he used to work for, in 2020. In his suit, he alleged the restaurant's majority owner, Nakia Holmes, formerly Price, was diverting funds, customers, and supplies to her other food trucks and catering businesses without compensating Rogers and other shareholders. But later that year, Roger Bar would be lit on fire during 2020, and it would take to 2025 to know why. Apparently, of course, the lawsuit, but Roger also took the recipe.
Imagine you watching your business on camera, and niggas is like, just like you watching niggas literally be about to torch your shit. Coming to work to your business one day, and you walking up, you got the keys, you unlocking the door, you pull up, and your shit is ashes. I mean, I guess it don't really happen like that. You definitely get the call and you hear that in the middle of the night. It's more so a call like, yo, shit is up in flames. And you jump out of bed and you rush down, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's more so how that
supplier
goes.
From the Turkey Leg Hut and made it his for Bar 5150. And apparently that was the key ingredient to the Turkey Leg Hut.
Bro, restaurants beefing on some shit like this. Man, go over there to that side of the restaurant and burn that shit. You almost like, what? Nigga, this not the streets, nigga.
According to the feds, Lynn Price, the former owner of the Turkey Leg Hut, allegedly paid a group of men $1,400 to set the bar on fire.
$1,400
was coming out. James Fortune, a Grammy-nominated gospel singer, and his wife had filed a lawsuit against Nakia Price. After finding out that she had filed for bankruptcy, it seems they claimed they loaned her hundreds of thousands of dollars to help keep the restaurant afloat. The lawsuit also indicates the claim that Fortune and his wife invested nearly $400,000 in the restaurant, including $180,000 for a 15% ownership stake. The couple was seeking to recover their investment and expenses.
But first tonight, more legal trouble for Houston's well-known Turkey Leg Hut.
A Grammy-nominated gospel singer James Fortune and his wife are now suing the restaurant's owner over claims they put more than $300,000 into the restaurant and are now out of the money. Sherman Chow joins us live with the story you'll see only on KHU 11 News. Sherman, this is just the latest problem for this popular restaurant.
It is indeed, Mia. We are outside of Turkey Leg Hut, which remains closed because of 35 health department code violations. And now a new lawsuit has been filed, and we are learning exclusively that a nationally known gospel artist says he and his wife have been violated too. James Fortune, gospel singer, husband, and investor. In 2018, he and wife Raquel met Nakia and Lindell Price at the Price's popular 3rd Ward restaurant. Turkey Leg Hut seemed the epitome of success.
We go to their home. We spend time, our kids interacted with each other.
Everything was good when it was good.
The Prices were in the throes of a contentious divorce. The Fortunes say they loaned Nakia, as the restaurant's owner, $100,000. 2 months later, Raquel says Nakia phoned.
She was hysterical because the comptrollers were physically there to seize assets, and so she needed financial assistance immediately.
The Fortunes then say they put in $180,000 for 15% ownership of the turkey leg hut. The next month, the Fortunes tell us Nakia couldn't pay bills.
So she asked if I would use my personal card to purchase food for the business.
The Fortunes say they spent thousands paying for food supplies and services.
Wow.
Then, on March 26th,
it's expensive to run a business.
Filed for bankruptcy, declaring less than $50,000 in assets.
By then, we're, $300,000 in. Bankruptcy was filed a month after we had given that money. We come to find out that there's millions in debt now.
Over the past several weeks, I went to the turkey leg hut, contacted employees, attorneys, and Nakia Holmes requesting an interview, which she declined. The Fortunes say in hopes of keeping the restaurant afloat, they even paid some employees when Turkey Leg Hut did not.
Did you take a business risk?
Damn.
And it just didn't work, as opposed to something more nefarious?
I think I allowed my friendship to blind me in a lot of areas. It's no words to describe the level of pain, hurt, and frustrations.
The Fortunes say they put in nearly $400,000 into the restaurant. Now they are suing and praying in hopes of getting their money back.
And pray.
Now, we should note that some of the players in this ongoing Turkey Leg Hut drama do
Where they gonna pull $400,000 from? I don't know how they gonna get it.
Convictions, including James Fortune. Those are from several years past and are unrelated to Turkey Leg Hut and this lawsuit. I did contact Nakia Holmes yesterday again.
My question to this too is, where does all of this go wrong? Where does this all fall apart at?
And for comment, her representative declined a response.
As you can see, fam, at this point he had a lot going on. But little did he know, less than a year from then, the feds would come knocking on his door. On the last week of April of 2025, Price was arrested and accused of orchestrating the 2020 burning of Bar 5015 and a bar just blocks away from Turkey Leg Hut, which closed in 2024. The bar is owned by Steve Rogers, who was also co-owner of Turkey Leg Hut, which we briefly talked about. Two other men, John Lee Price and Amarni Williams, were also arrested as part of the same federal indictment. John Lee Price was arrested on federal drug charges in Mississippi in 2023. Federal prosecutors said while he was in custody, he was interviewed by the FBI, who had been investigating the fire since 2022. John Lee Price, who is not related to Lynn Price, admitted to his role in the fire and identified Lynn Price, his employer, as the person who orchestrated and organized the arson. John Lee Price also told the FBI agents that Lynn Price was using the Turkey Leg Hut to store hundreds of pounds of Mary Jane. He told
snap! This nigga was double dipping. This nigga was 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the street.
Feds that the marijuana would be sold at the restaurant and packaged and bearing the business name. During testimony that lasted more than an hour, investigators uncovered evidence that showed Lynn Price threatened Rogers after he bought the bar 5015 in 2019. Rogers told the FBI that he initially considered partner with Lynn and Nakia Holmes, Price's ex-wife and another Turkey Leg Hut owner, in ownership of the bar, but decided against it. Rogers' decision upset Lynn Price. Rogers told the FBI that Lynn Price brought a box of cash to the bar to attempt to buy the business. The offer was rejected. Lynn Price later called and sent messages to Rogers complaining about the bar. In some of the messages, Lynn Price said he was upset about the bar selling crawfish.
Wait. So is this the Turkey Leg Hut that they looking at that's doing these clips right here? Talking about this not the club? This better not be the Turkey Leg Hut with the hookah and the bottle service. Hold on now.
About the bar selling crawfish and using the same supplier as the Turkey Leg Hut. In others, he wrote that he was upset that the bartenders were gossiping about Price and Holmes. Rogers told the FBI that Lynn Price threatened to blow up the bar. In addition to John Lee Price's confession, Amarni Williams also cooperated with investigators. The FBI tracked John Lee Price's cell phone to an area of the bar 5015 on the morning of the fire and uncovered early morning phone calls between Lynn Price and John Lee Price. Before and after the fire was set, at least 2 other men are believed to have participated in setting the fire. Neither has been charged, according to court records. John Lee Price told the FBI he received 2 payments from Lynn Price after the fire. The first was for $1,000, which was distributed to the crew. The second was for $400. Lynn Price is also charged with orchestrating the theft and arson of a car, a 1975 Chevy Nova Blue, 2 months before the bar fire. John Lee Price allegedly told FBI agents that Lynn Price, for years, orchestrated the theft and illegal sales of cars, heavy equipment, and trailers. He also testified that the Nova belonged to a police officer, and when Lynn Price learned who the owner was, he ordered for the car to be destroyed. Now, during this hearing, testimony from authorities also found weapons at Lynn Price's apartment, including guns registered to other people and a flamethrower. Lynn Price was a convicted felon from felony tax fraud charges in 2016 and is not permitted to own a gun. The prosecutor said he's not been charged with any weapon offenses. The prosecutors quoted that the number of accusations against him should support a decision to keep him in custody. Quoting, he's the orchestrator. He's the one who tries to keep his hands clean.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Serrano.
And I'm Lisa Hernandez. Right now, a judge is deciding
Sound
whether
like
to keep
Aretha.
Lynn Price in custody after prosecutors shared concerns that he threatened a witness or potential jurors. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry live in the newsroom after hours in the courtroom this morning. Bryce.
Yeah, Lisa and Andy.
He not going down without no fight.
Federal prosecutors say the turkeys have come home to roost. They
Oh
say
my
for
God.
years, Lynn Price has tried to keep his hands clean of crimes, paying off others to do the dirty work, and they want to keep him in custody. During a more than 2-hour hearing, an FBI agent testified that Price paid $1,400 to have his ex-business partner's bar, 5015, blown up nearly 5 years ago. This is surveillance video from that early morning in June of 2020 when masked men poured gasoline all over the patio before that fire that then caused an explosion and destroyed the building. An indictment unsealed last week alleges that Lynn Price orchestrated this plan. The owner of that bar allegedly told FBI agents he initially planned to bring Lynn Price into that business, but then decided not to. The owner allegedly turned down a box of cash Lynn Price brought him to be part of the ownership team. And then when bar 5015 started selling crawfish,
I'm on that.
apparently using the Turkey Leg Hut supplier, the owner said Lynn Price called screaming and hollering and threatened to blow the place up. So in the past, Lynn Price went to federal prison on tax fraud related charges. Once he got out on supervised release, prosecutors allege that he's been involved in other criminal activity, including paying a co-defendant in this arson case to steal vehicles and heavy machinery. The FBI agent testified under oath that same co-defendant.
He got a turkey leg F-150 on 4Gs, all red.
Admitted to bringing truckloads of hydro marijuana from California that would be stored at the Turkey Leg Hut and then got sold at the restaurant in custom branded packaging. Prosecutors allege Lynn Price got the proceeds and gave some of the money to that co-defendant. And while he's not charged connected to those allegations specifically, Price's attorney argues he is not a danger to the community. He's actually helped the community after natural disasters.
Mr. Lindo Price.
That shit's saving him.
For various reasons. One,
that right there is saving him.
Dangerous to the community. You heard multiple testimony as it relates.
That nigga done torched the whole restaurant, man.
His community involvement, the things that he does for the community, but more importantly, the co-defendants that are on his indictment have all been given a bond. So we're asking for equity and asking for a bond similar to the other people on his indictment.
The federal judge ended this hearing by saying there's a lot to think about and she's going to chew on it. We don't yet know when she'll make a decision about keeping Lynn Price in custody.
And Bryce, we understand Lynn Price is accused of another arson in this current indictment. What did you find out about that?
Yeah, Andy, in April of 2020, prosecutors say he paid a co-defendant to steal a 1975 Chevy Nova because Lynn Price wanted the engine out of it. But once they took that truck to the mechanic, they found out it had been stolen from a police officer who owned it. It was then found burned near railroad tracks and a retention pond. Now, around both of these alleged arsons, prosecutors say call records show the two men were in touch.
And Bryce, we know you sat in court throughout the morning. What was Price's demeanor like in court today, and what do we know about what happens next?
Lisa, Lynn Price was still handcuffed and shackled. He was wearing an olive green jumpsuit. He had many people there to support him and seemed hopeful at the beginning of this hearing. He was nodding at them as they came in, but then as the hearing went on, he seemed to keep his head down. And then at times when some of these new allegations came out and were discussed, he would appear to react.
Well, I guess 50 Cent had some new content, because best believe they're going to make a new TV series out of this.
Facts, for real. Because the way he moving, it was like He deep in the streets about these turkey legs, man. That being said, y'all let me know what y'all think, bro. Like the video, sub up, comment up, binge, rest of the channel. I love you. I appreciate y'all. I'm great for y'all, bro. And we gone. ADD lad.